There are three main paths to becoming a commercial airline pilot, and each of them comes with its own advantages and disadvantages. The first of which would be military, in which you would definitely receive top-notch training that's associated with military flight training. It's also favored by the airlines, so when it comes time to seeking a job in the civilian airline industry, it does tend to give you a leg up amongst your competitors for that job. You do receive a well-rounded education and increased personal discipline, which is associated with the additional training that you receive through the military. Now, flight training through the military requires no out-of-pocket cost to the student, which is definitely a favorable aspect of receiving flight training this way. However, it does come with a active duty commitment depending on which branch of the military you decide to join. That ranges from 6 to 10 years upon earning your wings. Military, to be a pilot for the military does require you to be a commissioned officer, and to be a commissioned officer you need your college degree. So that's another thing to consider. The second option would be a 14 CFR Part 141 certified flight school, such as an aeronautical university. Training through these programs is generally tailored towards students with a aviation career in mind. After completion of the flight training program through aeronautical universities, you will enter the workforce with a college degree. Now, a significant benefit of going through a Part 141 flight school is that there's a reduced hour requirement to earn your ATP rating, which I'll talk about in a minute. However, the major drawback is that it is typically the most expensive option of the three that I will talk about. The third option would be 14 CFR Part 61 certified flight schools or individual training with individual flight instructors. Now, this would be the most affordable option, as you're training with an individual certified flight instructor that isn't associated with a flight school. It is a pay-as-you-go format, so it tends to be more affordable than other options. And you can continue at your own pace, which is good for people who are receiving flight training for recreational pilot use or that kind of mindset. Typically lacks the additional classroom training gained with Part 141, however. And that classroom training is what we're doing right now online with Embry-Riddle. That would be the classroom training that you'd be missing out on with a Part 61 flight school. So now with these flight schools, you'll be working on several ratings that work your way up to becoming a commercial airline pilot. Now the first of these ratings would be a single engine private pilot license, which allows you to fly small planes with one engine, and you cannot be paid for it since it is a private pilot license. However, next you would earn your commercial pilot license, which allows you to be paid for it. However, you cannot transport passengers with that. So you could do something like traffic surveillance. Now, the next rating you would get is optional, but it would help gain the hours required for an ATP rating, and that would be certified flight instructor, which you can teach other people how to fly. Next would be the instrument flight rating, which allows you to fly in inclement weather such as fog and through clouds and above 18,000 feet. Next would be your multi-engine endorsement, so be able to fly planes with multiple engines. And the crowning jewel of your airline pilot training would be your airline transport pilot, or ATP rating. And this allows for the transportation of passengers and was what you need to become an airline pilot. This requires 1,500 logged pilot and command hours, however, which takes quite a while. However, if you receive flight training through a Part 141 certified flight school, that requirement goes down to 1,250. However, regardless of what flight school you go to, you are required to be at least 21 years of age. Now, at this point, you can apply for jobs with airlines. And once you do, you are required to have a specific airline type rating or aircraft type rating. For example, if you want to fly 737s, you have to have a 737 type rating. Now, at this point, after you've earned all these ratings, you would be a commercial airline pilot. And that's a very long and expensive path, but it pays off for those who have the dream of flying, such as myself. So I will be following this path, hopefully very soon. Thanks.